Hello, welcome back to Crushing Sounds. My name is Chris. It's a new year, so let's start with an awesome interview. And I'm joined by the amazing Jessie Williams of Ankor. Thank you so much for joining me today, Jessie. How are you doing today?
Hi, thank you for having me. It's a pleasure. I'm doing just fine, thank you. How about you?
I'm doing wonderful this week. I'm doing the earlies at work. So it means
Oh,
so it means my evenings. I've got loads of interviews lined up this week, so I'm making the most of it. Anyway, let's talk about more fun things instead.
yeah.
So, two big talking points that we wanted to cover today is, of course, your amazing new album with Ankor, mini album Shoganai, and of course the upcoming tour, which you guys are going to be doing for it. So let's not waste time. Let's jump straight into Shogunai. So I think across Ankor's sort of musical career, you can really see a progression in the music from the beginning up to where we are now. It seemed to get a little bit more ambitious every time until we get to this. What inspired you guys to go so hard for this album? Every song is different. They all tell a big story. The music videos. What made you go for this?
Yeah, we've always been told, like people used to tell us a few years ago when we made like full albums as well, like it's the first time we released singles this way. But people used to tell us, like in a bad way, that Angkor couldn't find their style because their songs were so different. That's what they used to say. Like Angkor doesn't have a style because like each song is completely different. And I think that's the style that probably defines the band, that you don't know what this next song is going to be like. It could be anything. Um, I think obviously the last album we released was 2019. And Prisoner was released December 2022. So it was more than 3 years later. And we'd lived a lot of things in this time, also pandemic in between, which was hard for everyone. And we all had very bad experiences from it. So I think that helped us write these 7 songs. Um, I would say also we decided to focus on each single. The thing is, we didn't want to rush the album. When we used to write albums before, we'd find ourselves, oh shit, like there's 2 weeks left till we have to record and we haven't even finished it yet. So you end up doing everything in a rush, which is not good because then you're listening to the album you've recorded and you're thinking, I could have done this here, I could have done that. This should be different. And this hasn't happened with this mini album because we took the time we needed for every song. So if a song took 3 months to write, it took 3 months. If it was one day, it was one day. We didn't rush anything. And cooking it so slowly, I think, is what made it so special as well. And as you said, like it's been a whole journey, like 2 years releasing music. A lot of things that have happened to us as well in these 2 years. So that has influenced each song. And we weren't thinking of an album when we were writing every song. We were just thinking of that particular song and what we wanted to express with it. And then, of course, the idea came up when we did Prisoner of doing chapters and doing a whole story. But we had no idea how many chapters it would have. No idea. It could have been 4, 5. We didn't know. And then it ended up being 7. But yeah.
Cool. Do you remember that moment where you all sort of came up with the inspiration, or maybe even one of you, to link all of these videos together?
That was from the beginning.
Mhm.
When we released Prisoner, of course, we released Prisoner and it was already chapter 2. It wasn't chapter 1. So we already knew the story we were going to write. We didn't have the chapters completely written, but we knew the story we wanted to tell. So we had that idea from the beginning. And then obviously, when we wrote each part of the story, we kept thinking, oh, okay, this is not the end. We have minimum, there's 2 more chapters coming. And then it was, just one more, one more. We even thought of like ending it with Venom and
Ooh.
that being the end of the story. But then we thought, I think we need more, just another one. And we released Embers, and there was, let's finish it with a different one. So we kept adding them. But yeah, we knew it was going to be a whole story. We didn't know how many chapters it would have.
Cool. So sort of you went into it with that sort of idea in mind, but it just sort of snowballed bigger and bigger and bigger as it went along,
Exactly.
basically.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's how the best ideas happen, I think. You just get
I think
lost
so
in
too.
it.
I think so too. I agree.
Cool. So I mentioned in my video about the album what my interpretation of the story being shown. Did you intend for it to be open to interpretation, or do you have a very clear idea in your head as to what the story is actually about?
No, I think anyone can interpret it their own way. We've had people think so many different things from the songs, and I think that makes it even more special. It's not just what we feel it means. That's why we wanted every song to have um, an individual meaning as well. We didn't want an album that you have to listen to the whole album to get the idea. Um, we wanted every song to have its own meaning, but then obviously that you can put them together and they all make sense when you listen to the whole mini album. Um, but yeah, I think like the thing here is we wanted people to connect to the lyrics, to the music, and obviously we wrote it thinking about one experience or something in particular. But I think when we write lyrics, they're not too specific, so people can maybe relate to them as well. We've had people say that Prisoners about eating disorders, about a million things. So, and it's not the case. That's not what it's about. But hey, it's open as well. So it's cool. It's cool. I like to read what people think about it as well. It's nice.
Yeah, great. You mentioned earlier that you said that before this album, people would often describe you guys as all your songs are different, basically. Did making each one, turning your songs into chapters of a story, was that kind of a way of turning that criticism into a strength kind of way? Because if every song is different, they can all be very visually defined as specific parts of a story rather than just a mishmash of ideas in one album.
Um, I don't think we even thought about it, to be honest. No, it's what we've always done. It's what we always do. And I think it depends on where we are at that time and what we're living and what we feel like. We'll write a song, and then if next week we write another song, it might be completely different. But that's because that's how we are, and we listen to so many different styles of music,
Mm.
honestly, that our influences change constantly. Obviously, we know it's metal. Metal's like the ground center of it, but then everything around it can change. So we're very into Japanese music, very
Mm.
into, I don't know, soundtracks, EDM, um, hip hop. So that can be completely different. But we don't really think um, about it when we're writing music. We just feel it, to be honest. It's just what comes out.
Yeah, great, fair enough. I mean, you mentioned Japanese music there. And in quite a lot of your videos, even some Q&A stuff you've done, you guys seem to have a real reverence for Japan.
Mm.
Where did that come from?
Oh, here in Catalonia, like where we guys live, um, there's this channel on TV that always used to play anime. So people who grew up in Catalonia, we've all watched anime ever since we were like babies, basically. So it's very important for everyone here. And obviously that influences people when they write music here, I think. So we're all very big fans of anime. I think maybe the least one would be Eleni, because you it's not as big as a culture in Greece as it is here in Spain. But she likes it as well. Um, so yeah, I think it's always been present in our lives, always. I can't think of a time like I remember when I was a kid, like going home and spending 3 or 4 hours watching anime every afternoon, like Chan or I don't know. Yeah, it's always been there for us. And
Yeah,
then obviously we traveled to Japan in 2017. We did our first tour and we fell in love with Japan even more. And then we went back in 2019, second tour, loved it as well. So yeah, we just love the country, love the people, love the culture, and we can't wait to be back.
yeah, I've never been. I've always wanted to go.
Oh, it's fantastic. You have to. You
Yeah,
have to.
one day, definitely, for sure. I mean, my girlfriend are huge Disney nuts.
Oh,
Huge Disney nuts. We go to Orlando Disney a lot, so it's like
oh, I'm so jealous.
maybe the Japan. There's one in Japan, isn't there?
There is. There's in Japan, there's Disneyland and Tokyo Sea. And apparently Tokyo Sea is quite different to Disneyland, but it's not just like sea rides. Apparently there's an amazing The Beauty and the Beast ride as well. That we love Disneyland, but we've only been to Disneyland Paris.
Yeah.
But we've been quite a few times and we love Disney as well. So
Yeah, yeah.
so Japan is a must. We haven't been to Disneyland Japan in Tokyo, but we will someday.
Brilliant, brilliant. Cool.
Someday.
So back to Shogunai.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's just talk about Disney for now.
Yeah.
No, next time. The videos that you guys did though, they look absolutely stunning. All of them look incredible, whether it's you guys playing or the story or whatever it is. I feel like I'm missing something when I'm just listening to the music at times. But which ones were more difficult to shoot? There's always one.
Maybe Venom because of the locations as well, and basically because I had to drag Julio, our bass player,
Yeah.
around and he's heavy. We tried because we thought, let's film how I'm putting him in the trunk of the car, in the boot. And we did try, but it was impossible. I couldn't lift him up. So that one was difficult because then we went as well to that fun fact about Venom, the video, is that when the video starts, there's this image of the inside of the car where I'm driving, and you can see Google Maps, and you can see the name of the place. And in this exact place where we shot the video, there was a very famous crime here in Spain 5 years ago, where a policewoman and a policeman killed another policeman and basically burned him in his car. And we shot the video in the exact same place. So in the end of the
Wow.
video, where I take Julio in the car as well, and he's like on this bridge, that's where it happened. So we decided to do it there. Obviously, if you're not from Spain, you wouldn't know. But a lot of people recognized it. But I think that one was quite tough as well. It was cold. I'm wearing a short dress. I'm always cold in Ankor music videos, always. But yeah, that was probably, or maybe Oblivion, because it was really, really cold,
I bet.
very cold. And there's the scene where I'm covered in black paint, and the bit where I'm in the snow, I actually had to throw myself on the floor. And obviously, paint was wet.
Yeah.
So all wet and touching the cold, cold snow was horrible. But yeah, I think probably those two. Probably those.
Yeah.
It went too bad though. Shogunai was the easiest because I'm just sitting there. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, the toughest probably those two.
Fair enough, fair enough. You sell the trauma of your character so incredibly well in those videos. Did it ever take an emotional toll on yourself having to portray that on and off for effectively 2 years?
Not really. Not really. It's not like someone acting and doing a film, where they get really into the role. In my case, I think it was quite easy because it's what I've written, it's the lyrics that I've written. So um I just feel the lyrics and what I'm singing, and that's it. And probably you think of obviously what you want to transmit. But Oblivion, I would say was probably maybe the toughest one. Um, it's a very emotional song, as you know
Mm.
already. And there's the scene where I drop the pills. I try to commit suicide. And when I listened, I remember when I listened to Oblivion the first time without vocals on it. It was just the instrumental version of it. I thought, okay, I know what this song has to be about. And I lost my dad during the pandemic to suicide. So obviously that was probably the toughest one to
Mm.
record as well, and feeling that. But at the same time, it's very natural. So I don't really feel like I'm acting. I'm just feeling what I'm singing. So it's not difficult at all.
Okay. I have to ask, and you can keep this ambiguous if you'd rather. But what's the significance of the scene in Oblivion where you're like sharing a drink with people and then they all suddenly disappear?
I would say that's the moment when she realizes like what she's missing, right? A lot of times we take for granted so many things, like the people around us, just little things like going out for a drink with your friends. And then when you don't have it, is when you realize what you're missing. So it's the scene when she realizes, obviously, when she tries to commit suicide, she realizes everything she's gonna miss and all the things she's gonna lose, and probably like you're not gonna be there for those people anymore. So it was a special scene, and the fun thing as well about it when we recorded it was we did it's just one take. So David, who films the videos, he was getting closer to me, like we were just recreating the scene, getting closer. And when he's right really close to me, everyone had to get up very quickly, blow
Yeah.
out the candles, put the chairs back. So it was really chaotic, but you can't see it on the camera, of course. But that was a very chaotic moment, and we had to do it quite a few times. But yeah, I think it's my favorite scene from the video. The moment where she realizes, and that's when it clicks and it changes, and you see the black paint.
Yeah, it's a really, really powerful moment. That
Mm.
back half of Oblivion, it's like, Jesus, it's a lot of emotional weight on that one. As there isn't quite a lot of your music, to be fair, but something about that break in that scene and then going to the second half just gets
Yeah.
me every single time.
Oh.
In a good way, in a good way. But the whole thing, intro track included, it's just shy of 32 minutes. I cannot tell you how refreshing that was. I live for long albums, don't get me wrong. I mean, I'm wearing a Saya t-shirt, atmospheric black metal, 14 minutes, love it. But I listen to a lot of albums, and it was so refreshing to have an album this short, to the point, sweet, incredible pacing, with every song different from one another. Given that the songs are all quite different, I don't think more tracks would have been a detriment to the pacing. So, were there any song ideas that got left behind or might appear later?
Nope. We
No.
we always say this. We're not a band that writes a lot of songs and then chooses what songs to use. When we start writing a song, that's the song we're going to make and finish. So we don't have any songs that we haven't made and we haven't finished. Sometimes we have ideas, obviously, there's a riff. Sometimes one of us will dream of a melody, maybe, and note it down. But a song we start is a song we finish. And we always do it. Obviously, that song can change a lot from the initial idea to what it ends up being. It can change completely. But yeah, we never write songs that we do not use. I know a lot of people do. We have a friend who's an amazing musician, and he has like 70 or 80 songs that he hasn't released. And for me, that is completely crazy. It's nuts. I can't think of doing that because they're all like babies and I need to release them and put them out to the world. I can't keep them for myself. So yeah, no. Song we start, song we finish, always.
Cool. You should see my band's backlog then. Jesus Christ. It's not 70, Jesus Christ. But
Yes.
there's a few. My God. I think that was one that we recorded like a year ago and we still haven't done anything with it yet. I don't really know why.
You
I
should
think
release it.
we do need to release it. I think it's just we just I don't know if you ever had this in the earlier days of any projects, but it's like constant need to we feel like we're constantly reinventing basically. So it's like does that song fit us anymore? Like that kind
But
of
that's why
thing.
that's the reason why I believe if you write a song, you need to release it as soon as possible. Obviously, you need to, I mean, think about it, change it if you need to, but don't wait a year. Because I know bands who do that. They write music and maybe some features have done as well. Like I've recorded the vocals and they tell me, it's not coming out till next year. I'm thinking, but why? Like maybe next year you don't like it anymore. Maybe you're different. And I don't know. So yeah, you should release it.
All right, I'll tell them tomorrow. We actually are rehearsing tomorrow. I'm like, Ankor says release it.
Release it.
Cool. Given how long the whole process of this album was, from release of the first song, even just to release of the last song, how much you put into it and all that, what went through your head when the final track dropped and everyone got to hear it and see the title of this thing?
It was very emotional, very emotional. And well, we always like watching reaction videos. But especially for Shoganai, I watched absolutely all of them. Because I wanted to see people's reaction right at the end as well. When we're talking about like thanking people for this journey they've been on with us. It was very emotional. I loved seeing people's reaction to it, all the comments as well. So many people saying this exact, using the word journey so much and saying, when this song, when you released Oblivion, it really helped me out because I was in a very bad time of my life. And then, when you released Embers, I don't know, completely somewhere different in my life. And for me, what makes it so special is to think that people relate these songs to different periods and moments of their life. So they play the album at home and it will remind them of completely different moments. It's not just when you release a full album and you listen to it and that's it. It's that moment. In this case, it's so different. It's like every song is a complete different time and we were living different things for people who listen to us and for us as well. I love listening to the album and remembering these moments of our lives. You know, for example, when we recorded Oblivion, when we're at the table as well with friends, there's this scene where I'm touching a girl's belly, and that is actually Julio, our bass player's wife, and she was pregnant at the time.
Wow.
And they had just let us know the day before that they were expecting a baby. So I see that video and I see that moment and think, oh, that's when they told us they were expecting, you know? So that's just a little example, but there's so many things to it with every song that makes it very special. And I love that people feel the same way as we do about it. It's amazing.
Yeah, I mean, when I look at other people's like thoughts on the album, I feel like I'm the only person claiming that Stereo is an absolute masterpiece. I'm like, don't get- everyone likes the whole thing, obviously, but I'm not going. Stereo is so good
Yeah,
that
stereo is normally not a favorite. I
I
mean,
don't get it. It's amazing.
thank you. But it's not a favorite. You're right. I think people normally say Prisoner and probably Darkbeat as well. Maybe those two I think are people's favorites. I love stereo as well, so I'm glad you said.
That guitar when it comes in, I just every time I'm like hairs stand on end every single time. And the dance break outro, I don't even like dance music, but that might it's so good. And I love the sort of aesthetic of the video with the whole post attempted suicide thing. I mentioned that in the video, but yeah, that really, really hit me hard. It's really,
Yeah,
really good.
thank you.
But I noticed that Shogunai is often referred to in places as mini album volume one.
Yep.
Am I allowed to ask what that implies? Has our story concluded?
I think it's quite obvious. Yeah, there is going to be a mini album volume 2. Now, will it be a continuation of the story? Probably not, but we do want to add a few things so that it could be.
Okay.
So we want to make something different. We don't want to continue with the exact same story, basically, because what we're writing now is different. Again, one more time. The song we're writing now is very different to any song from Shogunai, actually. Um, again, like it's always same story. And it's a very different story as well. But we want to have this maybe a few Easter eggs
Okay.
on it so that it could be a continuation of volume 1. But
Oh,
we really like working on mini albums now. It's something that we've all enjoyed so much that we will continue doing. So volume 2 for sure is going to be the next thing.
brilliant. I can't wait to hear what that ends up being. Of course, now that Shogunai's finally out, the hard work begins again because you're going to embark on quite the tour coming
Oh,
up shortly. What was it, 30 dates or something?
it is. Yeah, it's
With
crazy. Crazy.
yeah, with the amazing Conquer Divide, Seven Blood, and Dark Reborn on selected dates. I'm going to the Bristol show. I am so incredibly excited. You have no idea. So, how do you prepare yourself physically and mentally for a tour like that?
I don't think you can be prepared for such a tour, to be honest. I have never done a tour as long as this one. 30 shows is a lot. And especially the last shows, the last week, it's 7 shows in a row. So there's no off days in between. 7
Fucking
days is
hell.
crazy. It's a lot. And I keep thinking, oh, it's going to be really cold. I mean, we're going to Finland, to Norway. You know, it's going to be very cold. We're going to be talking to a lot of people. I don't want to catch a cold. I'm scared. But I got my jab for flu. I've tried to prevent as much as possible. That we've been going to the gym, training, eating well. And the last thing that I bought and that I'm doing now, getting ready for this tour, is I bought a treadmill. So basically, what I'm doing is I'm rehearsing on the treadmill.
Ah, okay.
Yeah. So I'm singing the songs because obviously when we rehearse, you're not moving as much as in a show.
Oh yeah.
And I move a lot on stage. We all move a lot, but I need to move when I'm rehearsing as well. So that's what I've been doing. And hopefully that will help. We'll see. I don't know. We'll see. I think it will. I think it will. But I think most important on tour would be to be hydrated. Obviously, it's the typical one, but I think it's the most important one to keep hydrated. Obviously, keep warm, rest a lot. Try to speak as little as possible. This for me is the most difficult one, mostly because like we're all amazing and great friends, and our crew as well. We really get on, and yeah, they're our best friends. So it's very, very difficult when you see everyone's having a good time on the bus and we're playing, I don't know, Mario Kart or Mario Party or games on the bus, and you have to be quiet. But I will try to be as quiet as possible. I will try. And yeah, I think those things would be the most important ones. I'll tell you at the end of the tour. We'll see how
Yeah.
it goes.
Yeah.
I hope, I hope it works. I
Yeah. Bristol's early on, so just let me know if it's going okay at that point.
exactly, exactly. I'll let you know.
Cool. I mean, going on vocal rest might be tricky with all the meet and greets you guys are doing, because you're doing one of every single show, if I'm right.
Yeah, we've got meet and greets, but we changed it up a little bit as well because what we did on the last meet and greet was an acoustic set in the middle of the afternoon. So I had to warm up for sound check, then warm up for the acoustic set and meet and greet, and then warm up again for the show. So I thought for this tour, I think is a bit too much, obviously. So what we've done is they have access to sound check. They can choose what songs, a couple of songs for us to play at the sound check, and then obviously speak a little bit. But as it's not too many people, I can probably keep a low volume. So that should be fine. That should be all right.
Yeah, no worries. And you don't have to give spoilers if you don't want to, but can we expect much of Shogunai to make an appearance?
Maybe.
Maybe in order?
I mean, I mean, how terrible would it be? Think about it. For a Shogunai tour, the tour, like, look at the name of the tour. Imagine if we didn't play Shogunai. I think that would be terrible. Terrible. So
Uh,
maybe.
Fair enough. I have seen bands where they like do the album tour and then they play maybe like two tracks from it. It
Oh no,
really pisses me off.
no, we're playing the whole album. We're
Yes,
we're
you heard it here.
we're doing all of them. We're doing all of them. Yeah, yeah, all
In
of them.
order?
No.
Ah, okay, fair enough.
No, no, not in order, not in order. We've
Okay,
changed the order as well of the set list quite a lot.
okay. Well, at least that keeps some suspense then.
Exactly.
Cool. Speaking of shows, though, 2024 looked absolutely wild for you guys. I caught you guys at Bloodstock Festival. That's actually how I discovered you guys in the first place, because
Wow.
I think you got announced for Blood. I don't know how early ahead of Bloodstock, but I go every year. I cover it every year, so I listen to every single band on every lineup every year. That's how I found you guys like months before, and that's what started this crazy journey for me, basically. And it was such a good show. It was well worth the wait. Are you able to pinpoint one big show highlight from the year just gone?
Yeah. Uh, Hell, I think it has to be Hellfest.
I mean, of course.
It has to be. And for various reasons. First of all, because it's freaking massive. It's amazing. But second, because the day before Hellfest, we played in Resurrection Fest in Spain, which is in Galicia, which basically is right on the other side of Spain. So it's right above Portugal. So it's very far away. So we played in Resurrection Fest, I think it was a Thursday at 5:30 p.m., something like that. And Hellfest was the day after at 11:40 a.m. And we checked flights, and there were no flights that would get us there on time. So we basically had to play at Resurrection, get in the van, and drive all the way up to Hellfest, which was a 13-hour drive.
Right.
Yeah. So imagine playing at 5:30. We left there at probably 7 p.m. Got to Clisson at 8 a.m. probably. And we were at the festival grounds at 9 a.m., ready for sound check, ready for everything. So we hadn't slept, no sleep at all. And the next day we were playing in Finland, like at noon, I think it was. So right after Hellfest, we had to leave again, get a plane, and go to Finland to play the next day. But I remember I kept thinking, oh, we're playing at 11:40. Like, who's going to be there on a Friday at 11:40 a.m.? I was thinking people are having breakfast. I mean, they've been there the day before. They're probably all tired, hungover. No one's going to be there. And I remember walking out on stage and it was packed. I couldn't see the end of the crowd. People were drunk as fuck already. Um, and it was probably, I think, the best show of my life. And it was very short. I think we played 30 minutes. But I enjoyed it so much. It was amazing. So I think that has to be the one I highlight. But they were all great, but that was just crazy. Elvis was crazy. And I was very sad though that we couldn't stay because we were there for 3 hours and that's it. So I couldn't really see any of it. So I hope we play again someday and I can stay longer.
Yeah, I'm hoping to go to Hellfest one day. I've never been. I've never been to a festival outside of the UK. Hellfest and Wacken just look like the mecca for metalheads, really.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
so. I need to get there at some
Vakken is
point.
amazing as well, I have to say. Vakken is fantastic. But Hellfest is, I think, is another level.
Mm,
It has to be
yeah.
the biggest one. It's crazy.
Oh God, yeah. What was it like 2021, 2022's lineup was just if you can think of a metal band, they're playing it.
There,
So,
yeah,
so yes. God, imagine the clashes though.
I know.
One day I'll get over there. So yeah, but as always for everyone watching at home, please go check out those links in the description below to get tickets for Ankor's upcoming tour and check out the incredible release Shogunai. So we're nearly done, but I like to end these interviews the same way every single time with some random quick-fire questions that have nothing to do with anything.
Okay, I
Uh,
like this. I
you
like this.
can, you can think as long or as quick as you want, elaborate
Okay.
if you wish. Just some light-hearted questions to see us through to the end. So, first question, summer or winter?
Winter.
Living in
That was fun.
Spain,
That
though.
was quick. I'm down. I have doubts now. Oh, we were talking. Oh, I don't know. You know the thing? I live in Spain.
Mhm.
It's very hot in the summer.
Yeah.
I'm not exactly a beach person. I don't go to the beach too often. I'm very pale as well. I get burnt easily. So I don't really go to the beach too much. And in summer here, it's impossible to sleep.
Oh,
Yeah, you're
I'll
dripping
bet.
in sweat, dripping in sweat. So that's probably why I said winter. I'm going to stay with winter, but I do like the summer holidays. I like both, but winter. It was my first answer. Let's stick to it.
Yeah, fair enough, fair enough. Tea or coffee?
Coffee
Always,
all the way. Yeah.
always, always. I think I've only ever had one person say tea in the years I've done this.
Really?
Metalheads don't drink tea, apparently.
I do drink tea when I'm on tour, but coffee is just fantastic. I love coffee.
Brilliant. Modern metal or traditional metal?
Modern metal.
Fair enough. Mosh pit or standing at the barrier? You can say neither.
Mhm. Standing at the barrier now, I would say.
Dogs or cats?
Mm. Oh, I don't like this
I always get everyone on one.
one. Oh, I need to say cats because I have cats, but I love dogs. So, but cats, yeah, cat.
Cool. Festival or small venue?
Mm. Mm. Festival. No, small venue. For one reason, because I was thinking first when I answered, I was thinking about like going, like attending a festival
Okay.
because I like going to festivals. But playing, I think I prefer small venues because it's your crowd coming to see you. Obviously, if you're a band like Metallica, then at festivals everyone knows your songs. But for a band like Ankor, it's not the case. So venues,
Okay, cool. Europe or Asia?
Asia.
Nice. Favorite band or artist?
That changes a lot. I don't think I have one favorite. I used to have one favorite, and that was Avril Lavigne when I was a teenager. So probably I would say Avril Lavigne, but now maybe I would say All Time Low.
Okay, cool. That's a throwback for me.
I know, I know. I really love All Time Low. So yeah.
Oh God, when did I see them? I think it was at Reading Fest 2012. Was the
Wow.
last time I listened to them. They were before Bullet for My Valentine of all things.
Wow, 2012, that's a long time ago. I saw them, I think, 2 years ago, February 2023 in Barcelona, and it was
Yeah,
fantastic.
yeah, brilliant. Last question. Favorite Anchor song?
Mhm. Oblivion.
Oh, nice. Good choice. And you know what? Fuck, I'm going to throw in this one as well because of what's behind you. Favorite Lord of the Rings film?
I'm gonna have to go with the poster I have.
Yes.
Sure, for
To be,
sure.
to be fair,
But
Fellowship
they're
is
all
my favorite.
fantastic.
They are all fantastic.
They're all great movies. So yeah.
Cool. I have to get
What
Lord of
is
the
your
Rings.
favorite Angkor song? Is it Stereo?
I I think probably just because of the immediate impact it had me on at the time, what it resonates with me. But I do love Oblivion. It's
Mm-hmm.
so epic. I love it. But
Good
it's
answer.
probably between those two for sure, Oblivion and Stereo.
Mm-hmm. Good answer.
Cool. Anyway, that's all I've got. Thank you so much, Jesse, for joining me today. It's been an absolute pleasure to meet you.
Thank you very much. Same. And I'll see you very, very soon in Bristol.
Cool. Of
Can't
course.
wait. Our first time in Bristol. And it's
No
actually the
way.
first time I go back to Bristol since I moved to Spain.
Oh, of
Because
course. You're from
I was
Bristol.
born in Bristol, but my family doesn't live in Bristol. They live like around the UK. So it's the first time I go back, so I'm excited for it.
Yeah, we'll have all the welcome home banners up and all
Yay!
that rubbish. Cool. So, as I'll repeat to everyone watching, please go check out those links down below. Get yourself some tickets to the upcoming tour and check out Shogunai. It will blow your mind. Thank you again for joining me, Jesse. Thank you, everyone, for watching. Go listen to some amazing heavy metal, and we'll see you in the next video.